Welcome to This Week in Pulling, the show that brings you all the action from the world of tractor and truck pulling. I'm Dan Mayer, joined by Jeremy and Miles Krieger, and each week we'll dive into the latest highlights, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes stories from the sport we all love. From upcoming events, standout performances, and the rich history that shaped pulling into what it is today, we've got you covered. So buckle up, This Week in Pulling starts now. Well, welcome back. This Week in Pulling, episode 62. Jeremy, we are in the heat of the summer, my friend.
Yes, and literally.
Literally. That's why. Literally.
Yes, indeed. It is hotter than blue hell where I am today.
Yes, I had to make some runs, do some different things here today, and it was just ridiculously hot every time that I got out. And yeah, it was just,
And I don't know about you, but the thermostat at my house is crying and whining and, not happy. And, my house is about 18 years old. So I know we're nearing time we're past time for needing a new HVAC unit, but I'm holding out and hoping that I was out there yesterday and, did the thing, turn the power off, wash the condensers, and get the coils good and clean, and put a new filter in there, and do all the things I can do to try to dissuade having to get a new one. And so far so good. Knock on wood. Today, it has stayed right in line. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got it set at 75 instead of 70, but it is holding fast and firm at 75. So
yeah, I actually had to pull off. So we've got these magnetic covers that go on the grates downstairs because it gets so cold.
Sure.
And I actually had to pull those off today. It was like, it's way too hot for that. Yeah. So it's the Mayer household is 100% full on air conditioning these last couple of days. Now the last 10 days previous, as of Sunday, I was up in the North Country. Right. Very nice and cool. It was temperatures barely touching that 70-degree mark.
Well,
no
good.
humidity.
You don't look very worse for the wear in terms of sunburn, and I feel like you did good up there. Now, of course, we're talking about the Budweiser Dairyland Super National Tractor Pull in Tomah, Wisconsin. That you just finished up there, a 3-night stint. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and how was it?
It was one of the best Tomahs that I have witnessed over the years. First off with the weather. Everybody talks about the weather in Tomah and how the rain, and actually that's what I'm checking on right now just to make sure. I'm trying to go back and figure out when the last time that they had a show where they didn't lose a session.
Right.
And I'm trying to think that looks like 2022 was the last. The last 3 years have been affected by rain. And 2022, they got all the sessions in. 21, they had rain. 19 would have been they had all the sessions in. And then 18, they had rain. So, yeah, looks like and then 17, same situation. 16. So yeah, it looks like so going back 10 years, it looks like they've only gotten 2 complete shows, 19 and 22, where rain didn't interfere. So that and I know 15 it interfered as well because my oldest boy and I went to watch that 15 year, and I think it rained 2 of the sessions that we were there. So yeah, it's been a challenge for them, and it was great to see that the forecast, going into Tomah week. Everybody's looking at the radar, and of course, everybody's a meteorologist now because you carry a phone around with you, so you're always checking. And everybody's, weather looks great. Weather, it was like, shh, don't jinx it. Let's just let's go in there and let's try to get some sessions in, and because what happens when it rains there, it just gets, there's a lot of grass there, and it just makes just a big mess. So,
and also if it's humid there, it's just brutal. Like, not that it usually is, but there have been some times where the rain comes in and you're just like, it gets so sticky. But then usually by the evening time, it's 40 degrees and freezing again. So it's You know, that place is a mystery wrapped in an enigma from a meteorological perspective. It is.
Speaking of that, Jeremy, somebody did tell me that the where Tomah is located, and there's something coming off a mountain. Now, I'm not a meteorologist. This is just somebody telling me this story, and it just, yeah. So something about the way the winds come down and they swirl and two come together, two fronts, and that's why they see Tomah sometimes gets the rain, I guess, and they get the weather.
Yeah,
I know nothing
understood.
about it. Maybe I'll investigate. I don't know.
I just know you can get all four seasons at Tomah in a day,
Yes,
easily.
yes,
And,
it can
I
happen.
have experienced it. You go there, you're in a t-shirt and shorts. It's 91 degrees outside, and you're, about to, burn up. And then at night, if you don't have a hoodie and long pants on, you're freezing, and
Yeah.
you're sunburned and windburned from the day before. So you're already miserable.
Yeah, it makes for exciting.
Oh,
And I can say that it was sweatshirt weather come nighttime. You did
gotcha.
have to. I mean, if it did get pretty cool down there through the first couple days. I think Saturday kind of was halfway decent there at Saturday night. But yeah, what a show! What a show as far as they had pullers in the overflow lot. They definitely did well with the entries, and
Sure.
it was pretty amazing, really.
Absolutely. Let's talk about, can I get a full report on the schmuckety slushy?
Oh yes, we can
Like
we can
I
we can
thought
go
that would have
right
been,
to.
I thought that would have been top billing. Like I feel like we should have already addressed that.
Well, I was kind of waiting for my cohort, your brother Miles, because he was in on it, so he was able to make it on over there,
Okay.
and yeah, so he was. I wanted to see what Miles' first thoughts were on the schmuckety slushy,
Okay.
but I'll give my report. It's a number one. It's
Top shelf. Okay.
It was, yes, it was. They had it chilling right there. They had this. So somebody on the team had this big slushy maker, that's used for like wine slushies and all kinds
Sure.
of like a ninja kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they had it churning there for and one of the sides was already gone, pretty much when
Okay.
I got there, when Miles and I got there, and then they had a second half which they were going to work on for the next day. So that was kind of yeah. So it was, but it was billed a number one. Brian.
Fantastic. So 10 out
Yeah,
of 10 would recommend.
I would highly recommend that drink. Very good. Whether you go regular schmuckety or the iced version, the slushy version, it's great either way you go.
Yeah, you can't go wrong for sure. And of course, we're speaking of the Wisconsin area drink known as schmuckety, which is black cherry Windsor whiskey and Sundrop and crushed ice. It's amazing. Now, the Guza family can give you the specific formulations and the
Yeah, I'm not
measurements
sure
in
on
terms of the mixology portion. But
yes,
all I'm saying is you have a couple or three red solo cups of that, and you feel like you're drinking fruit juice. And the next thing you know, you can't remember your name.
yes, and you've got to make your ride back to the hotel, and you don't remember where that is. But we didn't get to that point. We didn't get to
Okay.
that point. We just always have to be careful with that. So.
Well, highlights for you, storylines of the weekend that you're happy about. Of course, it goes without saying for me. You know exactly what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, I know. I know where you're going to go, and she was very excited. She was
Yes,
very excited. Well deserved. Well, why don't you go right into it?
absolutely. Lindsey Campbell
Yes.
wins Super National in Tomah, and then comes back with a fourth place finish Saturday, and gets the low number of the weekend. That's big. That's huge. And I was excited. Now, don't get me wrong. You've heard me talk about Lindsey Campbell, but I will continue to talk about Lindsey Campbell. I was very, very happy that she, I feel like sometimes she doesn't think she belongs there. And this weekend proved that she truly does.
Yeah.
And
She absolutely.
I'm very happy for her and that whole team and her husband and Chaos. And it's just good. And she had to have enjoyed that. And, she'll be able to carry that going into Bowling Green and maybe try to do it again there and, another Super National. But yeah, I feel like that was pretty awesome and I enjoyed that. But I also wanted to get your take on another thing. Like a storyline this week was, 5 announcers rotating in and out I'm going to tell you, I had some initial reservations about how I thought that might work, but I feel like it was great. I feel like you guys did a fantastic job, and I feel like it did not affect you negatively. I feel like your voice is held because you all got to take breaks. And I feel like that's really good at a place like Tomah or a Bowling Green where it's, 5 sessions or 4 sessions and you really don't have a lot of break in between, especially during those, Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon shows where you got maybe an hour and a half or two to come back and do another one. Maybe you get a dinner break, maybe you lay down and rest for a minute. But, in this case, you could literally, rest during the pull while someone else was talking, and then you could come back feeling even more refreshed. And kudos to the folks who decided that was a good idea. I thought it was. What's your take on it?
I had a great time. I think, like you said, I think it worked out great. See, at the early part of the weekend, Thursday night show, we were just kind of basically just doing the overall switch. Okay, we get so far and let's switch. And then as the weekend kind of worked along here, I've worked with Doc before. Obviously, I work with Charles every weekend, but Alan Washburn, I don't think I've worked with him. I'm not 100%, but I couldn't remember ever working with him. So and then we built that repertoire between the two of my Alan and myself. By the end of the weekend, we were going back and forth on a set. It just kind of, everything kind of just gelled together.
Good.
And that was great. I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't. I mean, you're 5 professionals. You should be able to get this done. You know what I mean? And it worked out
Absolutely.
great.
But no, I just think from an overall perspective of, voice health and like, I look at those big, 2 or 3 session days, like, like a Toma and like a Bowling Green. If you have a staff of 5 and no one's rotating out by Saturday night, you're all dead and you're sunburned. So this is a perfect example of, letting you take a break, letting you rest your voice, letting you get in out of the heat for a while, and then you come back ready to go to the next class. You're rejuvenated, and everybody's voice sounded great all the way through the weekend. And I feel like some of these bigger, some of these bigger super nationals could benefit from having a deeper team like that, where you have, if you have 5, maybe if you have 5 now, maybe you have 6 or 7, or maybe you have 8, or whatever it is, where you have 4 and 4, or however you do it. But like, I feel like you guys proved that, I guess Miles was pretty well the only one that didn't rotate out, but he was doing, just the trophy stuff and being a color man. So I feel like he was fine, and his voice held well. But again, I thought it was a great idea, and I think be interested to see what other people thought too.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jeremy. It worked out. It couldn't have worked out. Let me just say, it couldn't have worked out any better. It just,
And
like you
and
say,
I feel
everybody
like
was fresh.
as an announcer, this was a good thing, and I feel like it could be the wave of the future because I mean, don't get me wrong, we do this because we love it, and we also do it because we're professionals, but it's very possible and very easy to get exhausted. It's very easy to, hurt your voice. It's very easy to just run yourself into the ground on weekends like that, where you don't have enough sleep, you don't have enough energy, you don't have time to really keep yourself, where you need to be in order to, conserve energy, and especially in heat environments or late night pulling environments, things like that, where stress is high and sleep is not at a premium. So I feel like this is only benefiting everybody, and I'd be interested. Like I said, I think if we asked everybody and polled all the announcers up there, they would all say that it worked very well, and I'm glad it did, and hopefully this is something they look at. Going forward on bigger shows like that. Now I get it if it's just a 3 or 4 class 1 session and it's a little county fair or something, and you don't need that many people. But when you have these big super nationals like that with 30 and 35 and 40 in a class, it only benefits y'all's voices at the end of the day.
Oh, I agree. And like you say, with those big classes, one taking half the class, the other taking the other, and it was great. And then you just roll into the next class, and yeah, like you say, moving forward, I think that's going to be something to be looked at. And yeah, it was just it like I say, it couldn't have worked out any better. And everybody was by, like I say, by Saturday we were all kind of tuned in, just kind of throwing bannering back and forth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just it
And
was great. It really
it
was.
seemed like with each session, you guys got more comfortable, build a rapport, and you were able to really get each other's natural timing down. And the first night, not so much. Like everybody was kind of feeling one another out and making sure it was going to work. But I feel like as the weekend went along, you found other people like engaging. Like if Doc or Washburn said something that you could add to, you did that, or vice versa. And I feel like it really made the show that much better for those of us who were listening.
Now, Jeremy, were you able to pretty much watch the whole? I know you had your show on Friday night.
Yeah, I saw most of Thursday. I saw most of Friday afternoon session. I missed Friday evening session completely, and then I saw Saturday afternoon and some of Saturday night. But I'm a blue hair now, so I don't stay up really late anymore. Especially after I got out of the hospital, I just don't. Like it's very rare for me to be up till 11:30 or midnight. Of course, I didn't get to bed till 2 plus after getting home from Glasgow with the KTPA, but that was Friday night. Saturday night, I was in bed by like 10 after 9.
And you got to remember Wisconsin's not on real time; they're an hour behind. So yeah,
Yes, they're on.
kind of yeah. I
You know,
call it.
that's a funny story that not on real time, but like when I was growing up, Dan, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, but people around me in the country where I grew up, west of you, about 20, 25 miles where it changes, like Salem or, even farther out, they would refer to Central Time as slow time,
Okay.
and Eastern Time would be fast time. And I remember having a conversation one time with someone, and I said, "Is that on slow time or fast time?" And they looked at me like I had three heads, like they had no idea what that was. And so I don't know if it's just a Indiana thing or if it's just a my family thing growing up, but nobody like Eastern and Central has always been fast and slow to me in our region. But I don't think in Wisconsin they call it slow time, and I've never heard anybody else refer to it as such. But I like what you said. We're on regular time.
Yeah, I see. I always joke with the folks that I work with because a lot of them are from Central Time. So I
Right.
always say that Eastern Time is real time and Central Time is slow time. That's just kind
Yep.
of our little joke back and forth. But yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to pay attention where you're at, and and
Well,
then
and
let's
that's
say
like that Glasgow pull was an 8 Eastern, 7 Central start. So it's 8 o'clock my time, and I'm just turning the mic on.
right, yeah. So that makes it It's so they must be at that point where they're just on the verge, right, of being central, and then a little
Yeah.
bit more west would be obviously it's a central time then.
Yep, for
Okay.
sure. And that was supposed to be a 2 night show, but it rained out on Saturday night, and they'll have their big fall brawl in October.
Okay.
So I'll go back there then. It's either the 3rd or the 9th, I believe. I think it's the last show in the KTPA point standings. But it was fun show, and they had 6 classes. They had a lot of cool things. They had what did they have? They had light limited supers. They had the 4,300 pound pro stock mini trucks, or the light pro stock mini trucks. And there are always a bunch of them. I think there were 20 or 21 in there. And they ran 2-wheel drive, and I think pro stock 4-wheel drive, street diesel, and maybe like a 12.5 hot farm, if I remember. But yeah, it was a fun class for sure, and very enjoyable. Good evening, but yeah, I got to bed like 2:15 Eastern.
Eastern time. Eastern time.
But the KTPA is great. They're doing very well, and I think they're in Monticello, Kentucky for the 4th. I think they have a show on the 4th. I won't be there, but I'm back in. I think I'm back with them on the weekend of the 9th and 10th, I believe. No, that's the 10th and 11th. Go to Lebanon, Kentucky on Friday night, and then on Saturday, I get to go to Tell City, Indiana. It's the only only Hoosier pull they have. Only pull in the state of Indiana that KTPA has.
Now that
Perry County.
Tell City, where's that located?
It's west, like just west up 64, like you're headed to Evansville. And it's right along there. I want to say it's in the 70, maybe 79, 70, somewhere in there between the 70s and the 50s.
Okay.
You get the Holiday World. It's just across the river from Hawesville, Kentucky, where the bridge is.
Okay, so right on the border then, right?
Yeah.
Basically, okay. Very good. So, Jeremy, I'm gonna circle back to the Budweiser Dairyland Super Nationals in Tomah.
Sure.
So we talked about the biggest takeaway was the weather. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is the first-time Grand National winners.
Absolutely, that's definitely
seven of them, and
that's awesome.
Just impressive. You get the thing that I like about Tomah is you get to see a lot of pullers from that North Country area that you don't normally get to see. Come down from Minnesota, Dakotas, you see, up that way, and you don't normally get to see. And yeah, they were, a lot of them showing up there, and Mike Wallen winning his first Grand National in two-wheel drive. That was very impressive. He had the Dirty Pearl truck that formerly from the Simons, and then it went down to Texas and then back up. And I remember the story on that one. That was an interesting. It went down to Texas for a little bit, and then it went back up to Simons, and then it went to Wallen's, I do believe, the Black Iron team. And what a team that he's put together. That four-engine modified, Corey Kilmeyer picked up his second Grand National win of the year with that tractor, but also had they had the light mod there, and his 70 Chevy that ran in the two-wheel drive class I've seen previous was broke that weekend, so he didn't have it there as well. But yeah, he's put together quite a team. Very impressive.
Absolutely. When you talk about that, and we'll get back to your winners, but like I feel like you got to talk about Danny Johnson too.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Like with two very strong two-wheelers. The former Tim Messer machine that then was the thin blue line that then went to Texas and was Taz, and is now back, I guess, the Desperado machine again for him out of Georgia. And then that other truck was a Weens truck at one point, right?
I do believe, yes. Yeah.
And then of course the Animal House Ford, and so yeah, I mean, I feel like he's assembled a nice little team as well. Like if I could, that I was asking Miles the other day, I'm like, well, where did that come from? And he's like, oh, that was the old Taz. I'm like, oh yeah, if I could have bought that one, I would have bought that one. That's definitely one. Tim Messer did great with it, and the Hunts did great with it, and now Danny Johnson's doing great with it. So it's great to see. But that'd be another one that I feel like he gets points for the iron that he has decided to purchase, because those trucks are solid for sure.
And very impressive, because coming from the four-wheel drive world for all them years and then jumping on over in the two-wheel drive, that's part of it too, is how quickly you adapt to driving a two-wheel drive, with the supercharged engine. And yeah, so great class of two-wheel drives. You saw the Papa Bear there of Teresa Glover.
And she had a good weekend.
She put that truck in number 3 spot there on the first night. And then, of course, you got to talk about the super stock class. Colin Ross with his he had basically the same weekend he had in Rockwell, Iowa last year, except it got reversed a little bit. He won he swept the Alki classes and won one of the 2 diesel classes, where Rockwell was just the opposite. But nonetheless, impressive.
Absolutely. And you think to yourself, okay, what's this guy going to do next? Like, he's going to enter the triple bypass in a 2-wheel drive class and win, or something. Like, it's
unlimited, modified class.
That tractor is just unbelievable, and congratulations to him for sure.
So there's my thought. The unlimited class. I mean, you recall back in the late 80s, I think it was early 90s, where the diesel super stocks could run in the unlimited class. I don't know if that still applies. Did they change the rules on that? I mean, it's 8,000 pounds now. I don't think
I never
looked through the rule book to see if you could still do that, That was because they used to call it the open class, and it'd be interesting to see if that's still. I'm sure they probably did something to change that around, but yeah, it'd be
Right.
interesting if you could still enter in that class. Speaking of unlimited class, what a weekend for the Unlimiteds. Joe Ader won on Friday night. Saturday night, we saw Billy Beers back in the winner's circle. The New Yorkers sweep
Yep.
Tomah. But I think the bigger story has to go to the UD Motorsports team there, Dave Richardson and his group. Friday night, extensive damage. They lost a gearbox, stripped out a gear in the gearbox, and blew that left rear engine, blew it right up. So immediately after the class on Friday night, they went to worked till about, I think they said 4:30 in the morning. They got all the engines on there. They fired it up first thing in the morning. Fortunately, they bring an extra gearbox with them. A lot of times you don't hear about that,
Right.
and so they're able to do that. But an all night thrash for the UD team, and came out with a second place finish on Saturday night. That was, worthy of their top crew award. I believe they got the top crew for the unlimited class there, and well deserved for the weekend. But yeah, that was something to. I kind of wish somebody would have stop motioned it, to when they started to when they finish. You know how they do with like the Top Fuel teardowns,
Right.
the stop motion. I wish somebody would have done that, where they would have started, and because when I got over there after Friday night session, I mean, it looked like a garage sale. There was just parts and engines laying everywhere. They had everything off, laying all over the place, and yeah, it was quite the thrash, but paid off. I mean, the team, I think I saw almost every unlimited competitor there, offering to help, and that's one great thing, Jeremy. We talk about pulling.
For
You
sure.
know, everybody's right there to help until you hook to that sled. Then you're on your own. But up until then, yeah, that was impressive to see nonetheless. So
And how about the light pro class? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Like, you don't have to be, in the words of Larry the Cable Guy, the head cashier at the Walmart, to understand that, Al Cook, Jeff Michelocci, and Kurt Afdahl are going to be in there.
Yep.
But, if you'd have told me they'd have been in there in the same rotation both nights, I'd have told you were out of your mind.
You're crazy. Yeah, I would have said you're crazy.
There's no way.
I mean, we know Al Cook is pretty much one of the premier light pro stock drivers. But then you look at the rest of them guys. Jeff from the East and Kurt, from up that way. Same thing. They're the best of the best. And that was one thing you look at too, is like the regional classes this weekend. You had the light pro stocks and you had the limited pro stocks, and they were basically who's who classes. When
Absolutely.
you look through them classes, and like you look through the Ruths were there from Missouri in the limited pro class, which goes back to that funny story that Miles had told me about your dad with the Ruths, D Ruth, and for the trophy. And actually, Dee did tell me that when they won at Henry, their trophy does say it backwards. So it's So yeah, she says we've got the big crystal sitting at home, and it's got our husband's name backward on it. It's pretty impressive the way that worked out for him. But like I say, it was just unbelievable, the competitors that came out for regional classes and put on a great show. And then, you talk about the great performances. Daniel Bosch with the Midnight Raider.
Absolutely.
That's got to be one of the best stories, because Daniel hadn't pulled there. What did he tell me? 09 was the last year that he was there, and he won.
Yeah.
And his daughter wanted to come out this weekend or last weekend to go to Tomah. She's never been there. And they're like, okay, let's go. And of course, Granddad Jim was there, and he was watching the track all night long. And that was just, I mean, the first win he had, and then the second one when the truck bounced just a little bit and he ended up still winning. That was very impressive. So.
Well, and no surprises there. I mean, the Midnight Raider is always a force to be reckoned with. And Dan, when I knew him, I haven't seen him in a long time, but back when he was chasing the circuit and building chassis and doing the things he was doing, that kid could crawl in a two-wheeler and win. I've seen him do it. So I mean, that's it was great to see him A, back in a vehicle, and B, being successful with it for sure.
And then we got to talk about modified class Lane Bollinger, his
Yep,
first career Grand National win in the modified class. Had a
for
great
sure.
run there on Thursday night.
And I feel like you got to mention the bargies in there too,
Oh,
like
for sure.
you know, new tractors and in the hunt. So good for them.
Yeah, that new chassis on the next generation, the Judge next generation, really, it's a win waiting to happen. It really is. I mean, they had some nice passes here this weekend. Of course, the Jury tractor, they've added that third engine on for this year, and that making laps with that tractor as well. And yeah, look out. I think the turbines are going to have, once they get things where they need them to be, they're going to be right there in the mix. And yeah, it'd be exciting for sure.
Absolutely, for sure, for sure. Enjoyed seeing them, and I think it's just an overall good weekend for everybody up there. And to your point, it didn't rain, and I mean you didn't have a whole lot of major attrition that
No.
I could see, except for one lifted the cowling and had a massive explosion, and that's unfortunate, but it happens.
Steve Bunnage, he lost a rear end there after Thursday night. Unfortunately, he wasn't because he was going to run all the modified classes and the two unlimited classes as well, and unfortunately had breakage and wasn't able to continue on in the weekend. I got to think. Let's see, Pro Stocks. Ryan Coates, and then we had Tom Lammers, first time winners, first time Grand National winners. When have you seen that in Pro Stock?
Right.
In big fields of the Pro Stocks in Tomah. Let's see, we got Chad Timmerman with the minis. Now, did you watch the mini class on Saturday afternoon at all?
Yes.
Okay. That was the class where Chad Timmerman was on the left-hand chalk line there and made that pass to take the basically the lead and then the win.
Right.
They had him clocked at about 34, 35 mile an hour running on Saturday afternoon on that track in Tomah. They were flying. They were moving pretty quick. I mean, that was very impressive to see.
Absolutely. And Super Farm, Wayne Lamore, got to talk
Yes.
about him.
Yes. Another first-time Grand National winner, which
Yeah, and
I
we were
thought
all stunned. Like, I
yes.
didn't realize that was the case at all. Like, I thought, oh, sure, that guy's had several wins. But
Yep, and then going to talk to him there afterward and do his interview and got talking, and won a bunch of regional pulls, but has never gotten that Grand National, and then and then as well as Dylan Kuslik driving the Cummins Killer rides this weekend, limited rides in those, and Craig Dickey's tore his ACL a couple weeks ago and had surgery, so Craig was in a cast, a soft cast all weekend, and he thinks he's going to be able to go here in a couple of weeks when they go back again. So he's gonna try to drive the truck there with the one leg and try to get down through there. So we'll see what happens. Good luck with that for Craig. But yeah, Dylan limited rides in those two Cummins Killer trucks and did a great job. Looked like an old pro out there. The single charger truck, now he had driven before, but it had the smaller turbocharger on it. It had never gone with the big 6.0 charger on there that it has now. So that was kind of a learning curve for him. But that young man, like I say, we talked about all the young guys in this, super stock diesel truck class. We're in a good place for sure.
absolutely. And that, I think of all the classes that are growing, exponentially. I feel like that's one that's really, really seeing growth right now. And I like it. I think it's really cool, and I enjoy the fact that we're not going to seem to ever hurt for numbers in that class. Let's talk about light mods. Chase Smith gets one. Papa Wayne gets one.
Yeah, so Wayne Sullivan, a great run there on Saturday afternoon. Got his first Grand National win of the summer, and they've been chasing some engine issues with that tractor and trying to get it to make passes out there. And I think old Wayne got him on there Saturday afternoon. Just he was telling me after the pull there, just touching that brake, trying to keep it from, because you saw a lot of out of bounds this weekend. And
Right.
we kind of talked about that throughout the weekend. It didn't matter left, right. There was a lot of vehicles that went out of bounds, and which, really this year has been kind of a big story at all the places we've been. Is we've seen quite a few competitors on that. I don't know if it's just on that ragged edge and trying to take things that much further. I don't know, but it seems to be. When I get time, I'm going to count up how many out of bounds we've had this year, and it's going to be up there. I know that, but that was good to see Chase Smith, like you say, pick up his win earlier. So he's a 3-time winner this year, and he has the most wins in the light mod class. And did you see that run on Saturday with the flat tire?
Yes. Wow.
That was pretty.
That went way better than I thought it was going to go, for sure.
Yes,
because we got to shout out. Right. We got to shout out Todd Feist too. He had a 3 and a 4, and he gets the low number of the weekend. I mean, consistency pays dividends. So I mean, maybe he's not on the top of the podium, but he's right there in it for sure.
Oh, both him and Terry, the last, since the Florida swing, really, where they were, talked to Todd there after the Florida swing, and he was kind of down in the dumps. They've really got that engine program turned around, and hats off to them, because both Todd and Terry have been making really nice laps with their tractors, and we saw it, like you say, this weekend, with that overall championship for the light mod class for Todd. So congratulations there. And absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be I think a dogfight going down into the final event of the summer there with the light mods, which is not surprising because it's a very popular class. And, we trying to think, we got to talk about the diesel supers. We saw the return of the stray horse this weekend.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes, always good to see. And of course, Kent Payne's been working on it. We talked to Kent after his win on Friday afternoon with the Super Rooster, but we were kind of doing the interview in front of the stray horse, and he said, "Yeah, they kind of brought it to me, and we got a decent setup in it, made a couple laps, and really hats off to all the diesel super competitors this weekend, because we really saw 2 decent classes of heavy supers. I mean, they really, were able to all get out there and make runs, and how many times we've seen, some of them have issues right off the start line. We didn't really see that. Roger Peterson, unfortunately, wasn't able to come back, but I think he was the only one. But yeah, it was 2 great classes of diesel supers out there. Congratulations, Colin Colin won the one, and then Kent Payne won the other one there in the diesel super class. And then I'm trying to think here, light supers. Kyle Carlin back in the winner's circle with his orange tractor, and then Brian Bowles, the blue machine out of Missouri, and just a lot of great things happened in Tomah this weekend. And it was hope if you weren't able to check it out live and in person, great crowds as well. They had great crowds. Somebody had told me their Friday night crowd was one of their biggest they've had, and I don't know how long that was, but we're kind of talking about.
I hated to miss it for sure, but I had my anniversary as always. Same weekend, and so my wife Lorianne and I celebrated 23 years on Sunday, and I knew that if I went to Tomah, I'd have to come home Saturday night, or at least be ready to do whatever needed to be done on Sunday. So I just decided it might be best to skip it this year. But I love Tomah, and I sure missed it. And I have to tell you a funny story. Miles might have already told you. If he did, just act surprised. But I randomly called him while he was on the way, and I said, "Well, are you at Culver's yet?" Because he always goes to this one particular Culver's and gets himself a butter burger and a concrete mixer. Like, that's his yearly tradition. And so I called him and I said, "Well, are you how far out are you? When have you had your burger yet?" And he was actually walking into the door of Culver's when I called him. And so I timed it about right. I think I called him about 1:15, 1:30 Eastern time on that Thursday afternoon, and he was there in the Culver's ready to order, and he let me go and called me back after he had his lunch.
After his butter burger. I think they advertise that as the world's largest Culver's. I think it is.
I think you're right.
It's right along the 90 there. I think they advertise that as the It doesn't get any bigger than this one. The biggest
That's
culver.
right. But to me, it looks just like all the other culvers.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all the same there. But yeah, all the same goodies. So yeah, we got 4th of July weekend coming up. We got some big events coming up tomorrow night.
Yep.
Be up in Marion, Ohio. Going to be working with Keith Horst up there. As
Very nice.
Light modifieds will be on the docket, Grand National class, and then they'll have a couple regional classes to go along with it. And then let me see, on Friday night, going to be in Greenwich, Ohio, OSTPA pull, and we'll be announcing that one for Chase Smith. That'll be his pull happening. I guess paying big money for some of the classes out there. So
yeah, good deal.
It'll be interesting to see how that show goes. It was a good show last year, and look for more competitors this year. And then Saturday night will be at the Summer Sizzler, Jim Shaindorf's pull up in Dorr, Michigan, the Dorr Summer Sizzler. This year, going to have what is he calling it? The Redemption pull off. The Redemption pull off's going to do a pull off for all the classes. So basically, how this is going to work is all 5. So you got 2 Grand National classes and then 3 regional classes. We'll run them all through, and then we'll come back to the top 2 in each of the classes. No points. It's just strictly for money and coming on back and bragging rights.
Very nice.
So every class will be offered a pull-off. And if, say, for instance, the top 2 don't want to come back, he'll go to 3 and 4 until he finds 2 that want to pull it off. And he's going to pay $1,000 to win and $200 for the runner-up.
There you go.
So guaranteed pull-off, basically, how it's going to work.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting, and kind of a little bit of excitement there for the Summer Sizzler. They're on July 4th. So if you're at the beach, at the lake, at the cabin, you can check out Full Pull Live, and you can watch all that action while we're relaxing with a nice cool one. So
absolutely. Or if, in my case, if you're home roasting because your HVAC is probably on its way out.
Well, nurse it along, and it'll be all right. Friday night, Seward, Nebraska will be the Outlaw event. That will be on Full Pull Live as well. So 3 full days of Full Pull Live. If you're on, wherever, enjoying your holiday weekend, just tune in and see what's going on. It's going to be a great weekend. Looks like the weather's going to be on the, let's see, how would the best way to put it, on the toasty side.
Yeah, a little warm. For sure.
Stay cool. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Jeremy, what all you have going on?
I'll just be around. Like I say, our offices are closed on Friday, and I think I'm gonna make some pickles.
Oh, okay.
I did plant some cucumbers. Back in late April, early May, or right around Mother's Day, probably just a little bit, maybe before, around Derby week, and they've come in, so I've got some cucumbers, and I think I might be running a batch of dill pickles or a batch of bread and butters this weekend if all goes well. And I also bought about a 9-pound pork butt that I'll probably smoke over the weekend, and we'll probably just eat on that all weekend. Usually we have, pulled pork sandwiches one day, pulled pork nachos the next day, and then, whatever else happens with the pulled pork and other consecutive days. But usually between myself and Bradley and my wife, and then usually my in-laws will come over. So, 9 pounds doesn't really last, but a couple of days. So
don't have enough to make it into a casserole at the end of the no, it doesn't.
No, not generally.
Well, that'll do it for episode 62 this week in pulling. Everybody have a safe holiday weekend and enjoy your weekend.
Happy birthday, America. 250. Don't look a day over 249 to me.
249 and a half, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
And, thanks again to everybody for again, personally, from my heart, all the support, continuing to support me and my family after my little health scare. Appreciate all the donations, all the people who have offered to help. Really, really thank you so much. And then, hey, don't forget, give us your pit reports. If you don't if you haven't done that and you'd like to, get a hold of us. Let us know what you're seeing out there. We would love nothing more than to put it out there for you and let the pulling world know what you're seeing at your various events close to you.
So with that, enjoy your holiday weekend, everybody. Be safe. July 4th, watch the fireworks. And we'll see you back here next week.
So long, everybody. Safe travels northbound, Dan.
Thank you.